There are 7 things a man should never sacrifice for anyone, not even for the person he loves the most, because the moment you give them up, you don't just lose respect, you lose yourself. And once that happens, everything in your life begins to fall apart. Today, we're going to break down each one, starting with the one most men surrender without even noticing, and it's the fastest way to destroy your inner strength. Let's begin with Chapter 1. Your identity. The first thing you must never sacrifice is your identity, who you are at your core. Most men lose themselves slowly, not in one big moment. They start bending their values to avoid conflict, hiding their true opinions to please others, and pretending to be someone they think people will like. But every time you do that, a small part of you dies. Stoics believed that a man's identity is built on his virtues, his clarity, his honesty, his courage. When you give those up, you become a shadow, not a person. And here's the truth. People don't respect a man who abandons himself to gain approval. They respect the man who stands firm even when it costs something. Hold your identity like a shield. Protect it, guard it, because once you lose it, everything else collapses with it. Now let's move to Chapter 2. Your emotional stability. Most men give away their emotional stability without realizing it. They let someone else's mood dictate their own. When she's cold, they freeze. When she's distant, they panic. When she pulls away, they chase. But a Stoic man understands this simple truth. Your emotions are your internal kingdom, and no one gets to rule it but you. Emotional stability doesn't mean being numb. It means you respond instead of react. You stay centered while others spin in chaos. You choose your tone, your pace, your attitude, even when someone is trying to provoke you. And here's the irony. The moment you stop letting others control how you feel, they start respecting you more. People trust what is steady. They follow what is grounded. And that leads directly into the next thing you must never sacrifice, something that shapes every decision you make. Let's move to Chapter 3. Never sacrifice your direction for anyone. A man loses himself the moment he bends his purpose to fit someone else's expectations. When you sacrifice your direction, you don't just give up a dream, you give up the anchor that keeps your life stable. Stoicism teaches that purpose isn't a luxury, it's a duty. A man without purpose becomes reactive, insecure, and easily controlled by the desires and moods of others. In relationships, this is where many men fall apart. They abandon their goals to prove love, to avoid conflict, or to keep someone from leaving. But the truth is harsh. The moment you sacrifice your purpose, attraction fades, respect dies, and resentment grows. Your mission must remain non-negotiable. The right people will support it. The wrong people will demand you abandon it. And that is your signal to walk away. Hold your direction with calm conviction, because a man who knows where he's going never begs to be followed. He simply moves forward. And now we move into the next thing you must never sacrifice, no matter who asks. There's one thing a Stoic man never apologizes for: wanting more from himself, not for approval, not for status, but because ambition is the sharp edge that prevents a man from becoming dull. When you sacrifice your ambition for someone, anyone, you slowly begin to disappear. Your goals shrink, your vision blurs, and the fire that once made you magnetic starts to burn out. A healthy relationship never requires you to dim your potential just to keep someone comfortable. Stoicism teaches that your purpose is a duty, not a preference. A man who walks away from his mission becomes resentful, stagnant, and eventually unrecognizable to himself. Hold your ambition like a sacred flame. Let it guide your decisions, your discipline, and your direction. And from this fire rises the next truth, one that decides whether you build a life of power or fall into quiet misery. Let's move into Chapter 5. Your personal boundaries. If there is one thing a Stoic man never sacrifices, it's the invisible line that protects his peace, his dignity, and his self-respect. Boundaries aren't walls, they're agreements. They're the rules by which others are allowed to interact with you. And the moment you let someone cross them without consequence, you teach them one thing, that your comfort matters less than their desires. Most men weaken their own boundaries out of fear. Fear of losing someone, fear of conflict, fear of appearing difficult. But every time you stay silent when you should speak, every time you say yes while your soul screams no, you trade a piece of yourself away. Marcus Aurelius warned against living as if someone else's opinion is your master. And nothing makes you a slave faster than letting others decide how you should be treated. Healthy boundaries don't push people away. They filter the wrong ones out. They create respect, clarity, and steady masculinity. When you honor your limits, you invite others to honor them too. And if they don't, that's not your loss. It's your protection. Let's continue with the next thing you must never sacrifice. Something even more dangerous to give away. There will come a moment in every man's life when keeping your principles costs you something. Maybe it costs you approval. Maybe it costs you a relationship. Maybe it costs you an opportunity that looks tempting on the surface but feels wrong in your gut. Most people fold in these moments. They tell themselves it's not a big deal, or just this once, and that tiny compromise becomes the first crack in the foundation of who they are. Stoicism warns us, if you sacrifice your principles for comfort, validation, or desire, you lose the very core that makes you trustworthy, grounded, and magnetic. A man without principles becomes unpredictable. A man with principles becomes unshakable. Hold the line, even when it's inconvenient, even when people pressure you, even when walking away feels painful in the moment. Your values are not negotiable. They are the compass that protects your integrity and shields your future from chaos. And as you protect your principles, you quietly grow into the kind of man others respect, even if they don't always agree with you. When you understand this, you're ready for the final thing you must never sacrifice. There is nothing more expensive than a man's peace of mind. When you give it away, you give away the anchor that keeps your life steady. Many men surrender their inner peace to win approval, to avoid conflict, or to keep someone from leaving. But every time you silence your truth, every time you swallow your boundaries, every time you let chaos drown your clarity, you move one step further from the man you're meant to be. Stoicism teaches that inner peace is not a luxury. It is a discipline, a duty, a daily practice of choosing what's within your control and releasing what isn't. And when a man protects this inner sanctuary, he becomes unshakable. Suddenly, manipulation fails. Emotional games fail. Pressure fails. Nothing can disturb a mind that refuses to be disturbed. Because when you guard your peace, you guard your power. And when you guard your power, you rise above anyone who tries to pull you out of your center. Now that you understand the 7 things you must never sacrifice, let's bring it all together in the final message. When you refuse to sacrifice the core parts of yourself, you don't become harder. You become clear in your values, clear in your boundaries, clear in your worth. Stoicism teaches us this simple truth. A man who knows what he will never give up becomes untouchable. If this message strengthened you today, give this video a like and share it with someone who needs it. And subscribe for more Stoic wisdom to help you build a stronger, calmer, more disciplined life. Your better self is waiting. Stay on the path.